All right, here we are. Welcome to the final module of our entire series on regaining leverage in IT subscription contracts. We've spent the last 19 modules laying all the groundwork, and now it's time to put it all into action. This is where we flip the script, shift from defense to offense, and really truly take control.
But before we dive in, you know the drill. We have our standard but very important disclaimer. This is Module 20 of a 20-module overview on how to regain leverage in IT subscription contracts. Now, all this is based on comprehensive research from Virtualization Options LLC and is meant to give you general principles. It comes without any warranty, and it is absolutely not legal advice. You should always work with competent legal counsel who's familiar with the laws and regulations where you operate.
Okay, with that covered, let's get right to the heart of it. After 19 modules of digging into the details, this last session is all about one thing: action. We are fundamentally shifting our perspective here. We're done playing defense, just reacting to vendor lock-in. It's time to go on offense and start reshaping these vendor relationships on our own terms.
And the very first step in all of this, it's a massive shift in mindset. We are moving beyond just managing vendor lock-in, like it's some force of nature you just have to deal with. The new goal is to actively and strategically take control of your vendor relationships and really dictate the terms of engagement.
But before we even touch on tactics, we have to build the right foundation for this change. Look, the kind of shift we're talking about here, it doesn't happen overnight. It really requires a strategic commitment to being patient and persistent. This is a long game, for sure.
You know, this might just be the single most important concept to really let sink in. Gaining back real control isn't about one heroic negotiation or finding some magic bullet. It's a long-term strategic commitment that you build methodically, piece by piece, over years, not in a single contract cycle. So what does this marathon actually look like in practice? Well, first, you gotta set realistic expectations with your leadership and your stakeholders. Let them know this is gonna take time. Second, you show them consistent, measurable progress along the way. And this last one is so important. You have to celebrate the small, incremental wins. Those little victories are what build momentum and keep everyone invested for the long haul.
Okay, so the next pillar of taking control is all about deliberately creating choices for your organization, especially where you thought you didn't have any. Leverage doesn't just magically appear. You have to strategically build it.
Let me ask you a question. What is the value of a choice you never actually use? Think about that for a second, because sometimes the most powerful investments you can make are the ones that create options you might never have to exercise. Just the existence of a credible alternative completely changes the power dynamic in any negotiation.
So, what do these investments look like? Well, it means actively piloting other vendors, even on a small scale, just to create that real competitive tension. It means building technical portability right into your architecture, which systematically lowers the cost and risk if you ever did need to switch. And it means making sure your teams have skills on multiple platforms, so you are never held hostage by a single vendor's ecosystem.
Now, here's a crucial thing to realize as you go down this path. You are not going through this alone. I promise you, almost every other organization is facing these exact same challenges. And there is immense, untapped power in working together. And that's the power of collective action. This isn't just some feel-good idea. It's a powerful strategic lever. When customers share knowledge, when you benchmark pricing, when you discuss contract terms with each other, it forces vendors to be way more transparent and competitive. That collective pressure helps create a more balanced and fair market for everybody. And this is stuff you can start doing like today. Get active in industry forums, talk to your peers at other companies, share what worked for you, and just as importantly, share what didn't in your last negotiation. Learning from each other's successes and failures is going to dramatically speed up progress for the whole community. So ultimately, all of these efforts, the mindset shift, investing in your options, the community engagement, they all lead to one final destination: transforming your vendor relationships from a source of risk into a source of real strategic strength. The goal here is to consciously move away from a relationship that's all about vendor control, where they hold all the cards because of lock-in and high switching costs. We want to move toward a truly balanced partnership, one that's driven by mutual value, defined by fair and flexible terms, and is focused on shared success and growth. And let's be really clear here. This is not about punishing vendors or taking away their ability to run a business.
It's about creating a healthy, sustainable relationship where vendors have to earn your business by delivering continuous value, not just by making it impossible for you to leave. When value, not lock-in, is the foundation, both sides can actually win.
So, as we wrap up this entire series, we want to leave you with this one final guiding question. This is the ultimate test of a healthy vendor relationship. Do your vendors earn your business, or do they just lock it in? Thanks so much for joining us on this journey.